Yo! What is up, guys? Nick Nakai here. Let's Drift Media. Thank you for coming back to the channel. I know it's been a while, but on today's episode, we are going to be installing this head unit on my 2017 Lexus CT200h, and I'll kind of do a step-by-step for you guys. This is the CarPootTech Apple Play, Android Play, CarPlay radio head unit. It is supposed to be a direct OEM plug-and-play replacement, but you get this nice big screen, which is really nice, touchscreen, and has CarPlay. I've been wanting to add that to my car for a while. Things you get out of the package, it looks like some trim pieces to actually mount the screen into the factory spot, wire harness, should be plug-and-play, no cutting of wires involved, should still work with the backup camera and the steering wheel controls and the Bluetooth phone calling. So pretty excited for that. Another reason why I want to try this out. Here we got some kind of mounting plate, some little stencils. I think we are going to have to trim the dash foam a little bit from the videos I've seen. The final trim piece. It looks like it'll sit right in here like that to keep the OEM fit. So I got some instructions with the QR code that has a video to show you guys how to install it. I do already have the upper screen, so it should be pretty direct plug and play, bolt on, replace. Should fit 2011 through 2017. I'll leave the link in the description down below if you guys want to check out some more information, but without further ado, let's get started. Tools I think we're going to need: 10mm. This driver is going to speed things up, possibly a tape measure for those measurements, Sharpie, straight edge, some panel poppers, and we can get started. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up the camera, turn on the lights in here, and show you guys how to remove it. Alright, so a couple panels we're going to have to remove. It looks like this trim piece right here should just pop out. These side pieces as well should just pop out, just like that. This one's definitely got to come off first. Then we are going to pull this cup holder out assembly, which has the mouse connections and your 12-volt cigarette lighter. We'll have to unplug those. We can get all this out of the way. We're going to have to remove the shift knob, and then there should be some 10mm bolts holding the radio computer head unit, whatever you want to call it, down in place with a bunch of electrical connectors. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So we got those connectors and that little black plastic clip we got to remove. This will all just pop out though. One nice thing about Toyota. And it looks like this trim should just pop out. Just like that. So once you get that panel off, you can see those 10mm bolts right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we should be able to pull this out. And this one should as well just be a straight pop out. Alright, so the AC controls just popped out with the pull tabs, had one connector, head unit, and the telematics module. Had quite a few connectors, so you kind of have to be like me and shove your head back there just so you can release the connectors. This one, kind of the main one. It's a little lever inside right here that you push, and then you can flip this little lever open to pull it out. There is quite a few connectors. Don't worry, they kind of stay where they go, and it doesn't look like any of these connectors you're going to be able to plug them into the wrong port. So now that we got that off, I believe we got to pull this air vent out, which should just pop out. Disconnect this emergency flash here. Then we are going to pop this cover up. I think there's little push pins. You release those right in there. But so far, about 5-10 minutes in, it's very simple to remove these, like any Toyota. Be careful on these radios. These metals are very sharp and it is very easy to cut yourself. So just a heads up once you're in here. We got the trim cover off. I popped off the back clips first and then applied some pressure in here. Get these front clips off, or these two. Those are the only ones you have to push in with the screwdriver while lifting to pull those out. Here we got the head unit. We got 2 10s right here, 1, 2, and then it should just pop right up, hopefully. So just like that, we got pretty much the whole radio out, or at least what we will be replacing. Wasn't too bad, but I do recommend getting these plastic trim tools so you don't damage the interior. All right, so next we need to set up our template so we can make our cuts. Learned how to read Chinese right now. Looks like it's correct. I'm gonna go ahead and peel this, try and stick it on as nice as I can. All right, well this stuff did not stick really. Maybe should have cleaned the dash, but kind of lined it up the best I think. Kind of got this little line right here. The video I saw was pretty much lining up with that little nub. So I'm lining with that little nub, so I don't really think it'll be a problem. I'm gonna go ahead and get a razor blade now and trim it out. Alright, this is what mine looks like. Figured even if I messed it up or the radio didn't work, the stock plate should cover it. But just be careful, take your time, use a nice sharp razor blade. See right here, I think I kind of lost it, but it should still be covered. Let's go ahead and pop the new screen in, plug in the back, and start routing the harness. I think some of these connectors are going to plug into the harness, so I'll go ahead and grab that right now. Alright, so we got our new harness. This is a little inline connector. Obviously that one goes to that one. This will go back to our factory head unit. This one goes to this connector down there. There's only one that'll fit, so you can't really mess that up. Come down here, the rest of the new harness. We got our fuse coming up here. Judging by the video I saw that they sent with the instructions, they just wrapped all this stuff up. You got your remote wire, you got a subwoofer system, amplifier setup. There's some other connectors if you have like 360 camera, I guess, or external speakers, some of that. Back video on their video, they showed that this just plugged right into something, but I don't have no yellow RCA cable back here, so I'm hoping it works. Maybe I might not need it. And then the mic, it did come with a mic, however, so I'm guessing I'll need to route this somewhere. Probably, maybe mounted, I don't know, maybe right here somewhere. See how it goes. Yeah, all that. There's a connector in here that I saw they just hit up right there. So this is pretty much how I think it should look. And then we got 2 USB cables if you want to plug in your phone or other accessories. That looks like we're just going to run those down there. Then we already got that chained in there. We can start plugging all those connectors back into our factory unit. And then it looks like we're going to sneak this behind this module right here, up here, and through in between the vents to pop back out here to plug in to our new screen. So let's get to it. had to untape the harness to feed it through here. And then once I had it through, I retaped it up. You can see it's right there. You do not need this, I don't think. Pretty sure it's if you didn't have a pop-up display already, because it's identical almost to what I already have installed. So don't think I need that one, but I do need this smaller piece. I went ahead and popped the new screen into it and put in these 2 screws. So now I'm going to plug in these connectors right here in the back and pop it on in and continue forward. Alright, well, I went ahead and mocked everything up and my reverse camera was not working. I realized I had a second harness here. This one will pigtail into this one, I believe. Yes, into that one. We'll plug this yellow one into the yellow cable coming off the harness. This one I just left out. It does say 360, so we don't have one of those, and wasn't able to find any of these on the new harness. So go ahead and plug this into that yellow one. We got this pigtailed. Then we'll have our 3 connectors to the new head unit, the blue one, the new white one, and the other new white one. And then we will still have to run our mic wire, so I'm going to figure out how I'm going to sneak it in there. I might run it down from the bottom side here up there just so I could plug it in to there, so I still have a mic. But that is how you install this harness. So just to give it a once over, little connector here to the stock harness, here to the stock harness. Then we have our new one here and our new one there, which I already plugged into the radio. And the rest will be just plug in all those connectors back in. Every one of those should be plugged in, so make sure they all get plugged in. It does get a little tight, so I won't really be able to show you guys that much. Just kind of just sneaking back there to get them all in. But I'm gonna go ahead and start popping this baby back together. Alright guys, so the install's all done. I went ahead and drove it for a week just so I can give you guys my honest opinions of it. But it is pretty freaking sick. A big upgrade compared to the factory radio. The fact that the mouse button still works, the volume knobs. Everything still works. So this is the Android Auto. I got my Galaxy hooked up to it. See, we got the YouTube music, got all your playlists, stuff like that. You want to make a phone call, make a phone call. And Google Maps. That's kind of the sickest thing. I like just having the maps, Google Maps on while I'm driving in case I'm going somewhere we're not really too familiar with. So that's pretty nice. Reverse camera still works. Got some extra added lines for when you turn the steering wheel, which is optional. Back in park. Along with the YouTube music stuff, this is the home screen for the Android Auto or CarPlay. Kind of cool how you have your phone background displays on the screen. You got my 2 Doberman babies right there and a couple different apps. I never really mess with any of them. The only really thing, I usually drive around like this and just have the maps and the YouTube Music, Spotify, whatever you have. But yeah, pretty freaking nice. Big wide screen. So that's the Android Auto. You can go ahead and go back to the radio head unit main menu. See, it has your AC controls. This one's kind of like the OEM looking, what it looks like. But what is really cool is if you wanted to go back to the OEM radio, got your maps there, got your music, and got your menu. And with the factory radio, it still has that like haptic feedback. However, with the Android Auto, it doesn't. So, but overall, really cool. Really looks a lot better. The screen's a lot bigger, a little bit wider. Still works with your factory controls, factory steering wheels. I ended up putting the microphone right up here. Made a couple phone calls, and the people I talked to said the audio quality was a lot better than before. I guess the Bluetooth before, the mic wasn't that great on this vehicle when I would call people. But overall, pretty freaking sick. I'm even looking at possibly purchasing one for the truck, because they got like a big 15-inch Tesla screen that replaces that center console. Even though that one already has CarPlay, but this thing is really sick. Install, super easy. Hopefully this video helps you guys out if you do decide to purchase one. But yeah, overall, Nicknica approved. Super happy with it. So that's all I got for you guys for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully this video will help you out if you are installing one of these radio head units. But catch you guys later. Peace!